Hello and namaste to all the viewers who are watching us live on Century Times. The entire world is under the trap of global pandemic COVID-19 right now. Everyone is suffering in one way or another due to this. In between, we have introduced a discussion series called Century Times Bounce Back Discussion Series. And today's topic is COVID-19 socio-economic impact on Maldives and way forward for Nepal and Maldives relationship. Today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Shameem, who is the chairman of Civil Service Commission of Maldives, as well as member of Judicial Service Commission of Maldives, and he's also a community educator and motivator. First of all, we would like to welcome also Dr. Shameem.
Thank you very much, Aashish.
How are you?
Very good. Let me say hello and greetings, warm greetings to all the viewers of this channel.
Sir, before going ahead, I would like to request you to draw a few updates. What's going in Maldives? What's the situation there? With some numbers.
Thank you very much once again for having me, and thank you, Aashish, and also Century Times. As we are all now battling the worldwide coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, we are all concerned and trying our best. And every day, every minute, learning new things, trying to manage our trying to extend help to the needy. So it's not option, but given our conditions, our circumstances, and of the population, we may be slightly different from other countries in regard to the consequences. We are one of the smallest nation in Asia, Republic of Maldives, an island state, which comprises of about 1,100 islands, out of which 200 islands are inhabited, another 200 islands are industrial or have been established tourist facilities for tourism industry and agriculture. About the situation of COVID-19 pandemic in Maldives, let me give you the recent statistics. Our population is almost 500,000. And currently we have about 280 positive cases, 280 positive cases, and that includes 128 locals, Maldivians, and another 152 foreigners. So far, I'm happy to note here that no Nepali living in Maldives has been infected with the virus. But there are a few others from other neighboring countries, and we are managing quite okay or fine right now, but there is the fear and concern that community spreading started about 2 weeks back, and like in many other countries, from foreign arrivals, we got infected or the virus came to the country, and it was first noticed, communicated or through what you call a tourist, but later then Maldivians who lived overseas who came back, or this has begun spreading. But the government has placed important precautionary measures, and in fact very stringent and successful measures, because we in a lockdown. Now it's running into third week, but previously we spent about a month in a closer, what we call closer, meaning all offices, schools were closed as precautionary measures. And there has been very attentive surveillance throughout the nation. And those who are suspected or are found to be having symptoms are immediately isolated, kept in quarantine, and those who are found positive with infection were duly treated by the health medical officers.
I will come. I will come in detail. I will bring you in detail on this later. Is it lockdown still there, or the situation have changed?
Yes, we are still. In fact, just 2 days back, the governmental authority, which is known as Health Protection Agency of Maldives, which is a branch under Ministry of Health, and they have announced another 2 weeks of lockdown, which meaning that is going to be the third and fourth week. Previously, we had a 1 week close down where it was not a lockdown, but closed down on offices and everybody was advised to stay home.
A sort of partial lockdown, right?
Just 2 weeks back, it is in lockdown, and 2 weeks back, community spreading started. And so every day now we are getting about 50 or more or less 50 cases becoming positive. And right now we have one serious case in the hospitalized, and there has been only one death so far in Maldives.
What the government is like doing to coping up and fighting with this? Like, what are the measures beside the lockdown?
Yeah, the government is having precautionary measures, and we have the president himself is closely monitoring the situation, and there is a task force, national task force, which is planning and monitoring and spearheading or overseeing the operations that is in progress in controlling and the pandemic. And we have what we call National Emergency Operations Center, which is the spearheading body, and through them there are all over the country, on each island, inhabited island of the country, there has been a task force set up, and they are coordinating the operations on a particular island. As you know, unlike Nepal, which is a mountainous landlocked country, Maldives is low-lying island nations, and that each island is far apart from the other, and there's ocean or sea in between. And therefore, in one way, we could say the structure, the form, of Maldives is a blessing, because islands are far apart each other, and therefore it's easy to control the spread of the virus. And in other words, logistically, there are a lot of difficulties we face, because transportation of goods, medical supplies, and food, essential needs, everything has been transported from one island to the other. Mainly the hub of the country is the capital, Male, which is the Male Island, where all the supplies and all the operations are being coordinated centrally. So the government has put in place a lot of measures, and all the health officials are busy helping and planning the operations, that is precautionary as well as curative operations. And the there are, of course, in the forefront of the operations are civil servants who are mostly medical officers and nurses. We are very proud. As chairman of the Civil Service Commission of Maldives, I would like to thank all these civil servants whom I describe as living heroes, helping to manage and combat this pandemic. And with the health officers, our military and our police forces are also equally contributing to the operations and helping to defeat this epidemic. And so there are also volunteers. I like to mention the Red Crescent of Maldives, which is doing a wonderful job. And there are many other volunteers who have teamed up with these task forces and trying to help to overcome or the control of the disease or the spreading of the epidemic. So both the government and the civil servants and the, of course, the private sector, the corporate sector, everybody is now joined by hands to combat or to control this epidemic.
Do you think is like you are a government official as well, a constitutional post you are associated with? Do you think this the measures that has been taken are satisfactory, or you have some other suggestions as well?
We essentially, the government of Maldives is also following the guidelines of WHO and also more developed countries in the region and our great neighbor like India. And India has been very helpful, and they have been sharing their expertise with us, and as well as China and other countries. So we are very grateful to all our neighbors, including Bangladesh. They also had sent a relief a flight to the Maldives, and also have delivered some relief aid through one of their Navy ships. Similarly, it was first India which came in aid of Maldives at this time, and they also they also gifted medicines and other essentials to cope up with the epidemic. So we are grateful to all the countries that have been helping us, and so we are very much following the world trend and also the guidelines and instructions given by WHO. That's right. And all of us, all Maldivians are now tuned into our TV channels, the radio, listening almost 24 hours updates on the situation of virus. And in fact, social media, there's a lot of information being floated, various means of social media. And therefore, people are quite updated and aware of the situation. It has created very good awareness about the importance of being hygienic and washing hands and looking after selves. And so we have learned a lot of new things, and our habits and behavior has changed due to this, the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic.
Dr. Shameem, while we are talking, both of us, in fact, we are live from our home itself, the interview from home, and you are staying at home. Your technical team was at home, so we are all at like position, like each of us are staying at home and trying to do work from the place we are at. How life of people of Maldives have changed after this?
like any other country, Nepal, for example, Maldivians are also glued into screens, either your TV screens or some a laptop or iPad or your mobile phone, always reviewing the situation, updating the situation, and every day, almost twice, our National Emergency Operations Center is holding a press conference and giving updates and also announcing the new measures that are being enforced.
Okay.
And therefore, the information is very well communicated. And so it has really changed our thinking. We have to learn new things now, and therefore the behavior has changed, and we are getting used to now more, I would think, self-caring mentality. And also there has been very much close helping each other, one another, and self-help approach has been our observed approach is observed everywhere, and people are really helping each other. And so it has really opened up our mind, and we feel that there are a lot of new things we have learned in terms of policy and also strategies, both at the government level and also at public level. We need to make adjustments or bring change to our way of life. Certainly, our lifestyle, it has caused, called for rethinking of our lifestyle and our way of life, definitely. And therefore, I think this could be, this epidemic has brought some kind of, some blessings, while of course it is big risk or a danger to all communities, definitely.
So there are something to learn from it as well, obviously. Dr. Shameem, having said that, Maldives is a tourism-based economy, like a major part of the economy is contributed by tourism. How do you see it's going to affect the Maldives economy?
Yes, like Nepal, tourism is our #1 industry and the largest foreign exchange earner. But unfortunately, it is at a standstill now. All the resorts and the hotels, guest houses have been closed, and of course there has been suspension of airlines. There are no flights now flying to Maldives. And therefore, this is in the history of Maldives a very hard time it has faced. And so the government revenue, which has declined definitely, and we are still in uncertainty. We don't know how long the current situation would prolong, and therefore income that has been generated and received to the government is very much in doubt now. The estimated budgets have to be reduced now. Government, in fact, has announced and enforced very austerity measures, and contingency plans are being put in place, and the government is not allowing now unnecessary or expenses or spending, and it is encouraging economizing budgetary resources. And therefore, we really, as a small country based on a very, very narrow resource basis, we are hardly hit by this pandemic. And we really don't know how long it will take for us to overcome this tragedy or disaster, rather. So But at the same time, we are also hoping as an island nation, and our tourism facilities are built on separate self-contained islands. So there is chances that we could, what do you call, um, re, resolve quickly, or um, and that's our wish, of course, and with the help of our donors and the development partners, it is hope that we can recover quickly from the decline. And I must also thankfully mention that a lot of our donors, bilateral uh, partners, and other development partners have been extending relief aid in kind and cash, and also multilateral agencies are giving us funds on loan basis in order to people to help to recover from this decline quickly.
Mm-hmm. It's not just hitting the economy of the country. As it's the most important, occupation for each of the people. Like someone, each of the chain of people in Maldives. Like if one is working as a manager, other as a waiter, or other as a businessman, all are somewhere associated with tourism industry. So how that low income people are managing at this difficult time, like, and the industry is shut down. So how they are managing?
Yes, well, the informal sector is almost in disaster because although self-employed people are having a hard time, most of them have lost their businesses and their jobs as well. In the case of tourism sector, thousands of people have been sent home. Some are on what they call unpaid, no pay leave, and others have lost their job. And the government has, of course, is doing their best to intervene and help with what you call stimulation package, where they are giving some amount as unemployment benefit, and banks and other uh, lending agencies have suspended a few months the repayment of loans, and also banks are offering temporary top-up loans for small businessmen and women, or what you call SMEs, small and medium enterprises, to recover from this downfall. Um, and I think the government is closely monitoring and intervening to see that the economy is not totally collapsing, but moving slowly, and the momentum is sustained. So this is what we are now at a period of uncertainty. We don't know what lies ahead, but we only have wishful thinking. But with the stringent and precautionary measures the government authorities and the people of Maldives have taken, we are hopeful that we can manage the crisis without much damage. We don't want any deaths to occur, and of course we want to minimize as far as possible the community spread of the disease. And so the situation right now is in an uncertain condition, but we are hopeful things can be controlled and reversed back.
Dr. Shameem, you mentioned about the loan things and the other measures. I think those are happening for lower middle class or middle class enterprise or people. What about the daily wage worker who wants on daily basis spend and buy food for their family? How government is helping them?
Daily basis, you mean
Daily wage worker, like the one who earn daily, like earn in daytime and then they buy food for the next.
Yeah, wage employers.
Mm-hmm.
Employees, that's right. Yeah, as I said, they are the people who are hardest hit because of this situation, and those who work on wage employment on daily basis, they are really suffering. But the government is again intervening and helping them, and some of them are given shelter, temporary shelters, and also provided food, and so it's the what do you call, the homeless people and jobless people are day by day increasing, but it's not as rampant as in other countries, because we being small country and living in small islands. So these are things that are within our manageable, within manageable scope. Mm, yes, please.
Yeah, so Dr. Shameem, you have been to different countries and SAARC nations, and you have been closely monitoring all the SAARC nations. You have been to India and most of other SAARC nations. So, how do you think? How do you see things changing in mostly SAARC nations after this pandemic gets to a conclusion?
Yes, the situation has brought much closer the members of the South Asia Association for Regional Cooperation, or SAARC. And we were really impressed when the India initiated a conference of SAARC countries to
Yes.
discuss the onset of coronavirus pandemic in the region.
Yeah, they
And
established a
we are
fund as
really
well.
happy. Sorry?
Yeah, there's Prime Minister Modi established a fund.
Yes, yes, that's true. A relief fund has been established, COVID-19 relief fund, I think it's called, and Maldives also has contributed to this fund, and therefore it is giving more, what do you call, as kind of security that each other SAARC members would help each other. And we are in constant touch with the experts and health officials all throughout the countries, I think, and monitoring the situation, exchanging expertise, experiences, and information as well. And but there is, if I could just make some observation here, there is what you call good solidarity has been built amongst our countries, member countries, but and within SAARC there exists already a mechanism known as food security, but I think a similar kind of a mechanism is required for health security in the region. I think we have learned a big lesson from these pandemics, and it is found that all countries need to increase their budget for health care,
Absolutely.
both research and also for curative care. So, and similarly, I think we also need to introduce in school curriculum more contents on health prevention, health promotion, hygiene, and healthy living, nutritional values, and home economics as well. Because in such situation, we are all have to manage ourselves. Self-sufficiency is the approach in such pandemic situations. Therefore, I think these are lessons we can learn and introduce or revise our policies in order to introduce more kind of responsible and healthy living, what we call planning for future, to cope up with such calamities in the future. So I hope with the establishment relief fund and the kind of collaboration that has been intensified among the SAARC member countries, it will grow into another subsidiary body perhaps, which will maintain and sustain and look into how region collectively do research in order to be more prepared and to increase the scope in coping up such situations or pandemics.
Yes. Dr. Shameem, would you like to point any of the steps that government of Maldives have taken and that would be fruitful for other SAARC nations as well?
Yes, we are all learning from one another, helping each other, both as individuals and as countries, and therefore self-help and caring neighbors kind of attitude has been used, and therefore we hope we will intensify this solidarity and brotherhood kind of relationship that have been built amongst the SAARC countries. And we are also hopeful that countries with means and endowment or in better place to help others will certainly be helping the less fortunate countries like Maldives. And we are very grateful and thankful for that. And certainly we will learn from each other. And responsible living and responsible life is very important now, because every individual should take precautions and ensure that nobody is harmed or infected because of a person. So if everyone takes precautions and protect himself and stops or spreading the virus, and then adopt responsible behavior, attitude, mentality, and also promote or lobby or advocate the similar precautionary and responsible life and behavior, I think we can overcome the crisis and defeat this communicable and dangerous virus.
Dr. Shameem, do you see this would make any effect to Nepal and Maldives relationship and or business between the two countries?
Yes, this is our wish in Maldives as well. Currently, we don't have much interactions diplomatically also with Nepal and Maldives, because none of our countries have any resident diplomatic missions, either in Kathmandu or capital of Maldives, Male. The only diplomat I'm known is our director based at the headquarters of SAARC in Kathmandu. He is probably filling up or performing dual roles as the country's representative in Nepal. And unfortunately, I do not think we have any representative in Nepal in Maldives, but we are very grateful. There are a number of very disciplined, loyal workers, employees in Maldives engaged in tourism sector. And in the Maldives too, it's well known Nepalis as loyal people, disciplined people, very considerate people, and actually very famous being good security officers. There are a lot of security officers both on the resorts and other areas where a lot of Nepali staff are serving the security needs. This is something we are grateful. And of course, there are in other occupations too, a lot of Nepalis are working in Maldives.
Mhm.
And we also have the Nepal is known as a very good academic destination for medical students in the Maldives.
Mhm.
Large number of medical students study in Nepali universities, and
Okay.
especially most of the graduate courses. A lot of Maldivians go to Nepal for postgraduate education, medical sciences. So
Mhm.
we have established good relationship, and if I could recall, I think it was 1st of August 1980,
Mhm.
Maldives and Nepal formally established diplomatic relations,
Mhm.
and we are now good friends. And Nepal, we have high regard for Nepal because it's a country where we could learn a lot from its history. And also currently, the Nepal is hosting the multilateral largest organization of the region, SAARC, and we are
Mhm.
very grateful to the government and the people of Nepal
Mhm.
for hosting the headquarters of our regional body.
Mhm.
So it is my wish, and I think everyone's wish here, very soon that more diplomatic interactions unfold between our two countries, and finally a resident embassy or is established in our countries. That's the, of course, wish we have. But
Mhm.
and recently there was very famous film stars of Nepalis came to Maldives, and they shot, I think, one song. Movie of
Okay.
the song was shot in the Maldives, and it became an instant hit in the Maldives. I think in Nepal as well. I forgot the
Mhm.
name, and it's not only one song, and a couple of songs have been shot.
Mhm.
And also we also see that some Nepali musicians are picking up Maldivian songs, and Maldivian tunes, and singing them,
Mhm.
and making covers, which is very, I think, a nice and a way of expressing goodwill between the people of Maldives and Nepal. So we hope that at government level, in the future, more interactions occur, and therefore there will be more collaborations developing between our two countries.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, due to distance and our two countries, uh, our Maldives is a low-lying nation, but Nepal is a high-rise mountainous country, and
Mhm.
there is always talk in the Maldives that we could build, or we could have what you call a combined twinning kind of a tourism package. We could build for people interested to visit low-lying island nations in sunshine and visit mountainous and cool Himalayas of Nepal. Maybe
Mhm.
5 days in Maldives, 5 days in Nepal. If we can introduce such a thing, I think a lot of those loving
Mhm.
environmentalists would be and adventurers, of course, people looking for adventures would visit and make use of such tourism packages. So this is a
Absolutely.
dream that yet to come true, I think. Unfortunately, we don't have direct flights between Kathmandu and Male
Mhm.
at the moment, but of course there are other airlines serving Maldives and bridging Nepal and Maldives.
Mhm.
I have visited 2 times to attend 2 conferences in Nepal, and
Great.
therefore I always admire, love to go again Nepal. The people
Mhm.
are very friendly and very safe country to live, definitely, and also very honest people. I must say, very honest people. Nepalis are found to be, and these are virtues that I think most of in the region can learn from them. And almost all Nepalis, they speak about 2 to 3 language, which is also something we admire.
Mhm.
Most of them speak English, and they can also speak Hindi or Urdu, and besides your own language. And
Yeah.
so they're really, I think, fortunate, intelligent people. Had they got more endowment of resources, they would have been, definitely in a better position than today. Of course, when we look at the ancient history, Nepal is well respected and recognized as the birthplace of Lord Buddha, and also a country which has never been. There are a couple of countries, maybe three, five countries never colonized in the world, and Nepal is one of the countries. So it has a good, it has a very rich history where we can learn a lot. And so this is the message of which I could.
No, it's absolutely. Your thanks for your wonderful compliments. Like I have been to Maldives last year itself, and it's quite beautiful country, and the people are equally good, and they're equally welcoming, friendly. Dr. Shameem, we are like running. We have very few time left of our assigned time. I would request you to not too briefly, not too long, make us last remark.
Yes, we are all going through the pandemic of the pandemic of the COVID-19, and therefore it has taught us a lot of lessons and also found new discoveries. Therefore, in the future, we hope we become more responsible people and we change our lifestyle and the way of living as well in a conducive manner where we could control such pandemics. And of course, responsible behavior means we can curtail or contain any spread of viruses or diseases. And I'm really grateful and want to acknowledge here the kind of self-help approach and caring one another kind of approach that have been displayed or demonstrated by the SARC leaders. And therefore, we really appreciate that. And in the future, of course, we hope that collectively we could establish more mechanism in order to deal with crises like this, and also to cope up with crises or calamities of this nature. And I'm sure together we can save each other and also make our region a better place to live, both peaceful and a place of peace and stable.
Dr. Shameem, we have honorary consul of Maldives in Nepal. I hope we will have one in Maldives as well, and hope that in coming days we can have a residential embassy in Maldives, and you can have one in Kathmandu to further strengthen our relationship. Thanks for your valuable time. I hope to catch you again on different issues. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Aashish, and also your Century Times channel for having me. It's I must mention here, this is the first time that I have spoken to a media outlet of Nepal. So I'm very grateful, and I look forward more opportunities. I think it will open up after your interview. And I once again wish all Nepali people all the best and prosperity and safety from further spread of COVID-19 virus.
Stay safe, keep healthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. I hope you like this interview, and we promise to bring some other personality again in front of you, with you, with different topics in between COVID-19. Thank you.